I'm Emily.
And I'm Gianna.
And this is Booked Up Babes.
Woo!
Okay, hello.
Hey, everybody.
All right, we are back again. And we are talking about the Twisted series by Huang.
We're doing our first romance.
Yeah!
It's the month of love, guys.
It is.
So, I mean, this is definitely not, a lovable little romance that we're about to dive into, but it's definitely something.
It's, I wouldn't say it's not quite as, crazy as like a 50 Shades. It's in the category of
I'm sorry, I actually do have to say now, remember when 50 Shades came out and everybody was like, yes. And now I read books and I'm like, that was a child's play.
Yeah, I've honestly never even brought myself to read the 50 Shades books.
I did, and I was just like, now that with some of the books that like are written now, I'm like, that
people
was
are getting
scandalous.
But I feel like she opened the door for people to get real buck wild.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like I feel like before her, we weren't talking about books with sex in them the way like hers became very mainstream in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, who wrote 50 Shades of Grey again? What's the author's name?
I was gonna say Stephanie Meyer, but
that is a much different series called Twilight, and
yeah, but you want to know what? I think 50 Shades of Grey was based off of a Twilight fanfiction.
I think you're right. I think there was something like that.
Yeah, there was like something connected. Like, weird.
Whatever.
Who was 50 Shades of Grey by?
I had no idea. Because I never actually read the books.
It was actually ghostwritten by me.
I've seen some of the movies, and then at a certain point I was like, this is not my vibe.
Well, also the actor and actress like hated each other and they had no chemistry.
No chemistry at all.
Can't remember their names either. Oh, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson. Love her.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're both great actors. Just not together.
No.
But yes, I feel like she opened the door for like books like that to become a little more mainstream.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just so funny because like I remember that being like it was the most scandalous thing out there, and now I'm like, good Lord, what's out there now?
Yeah, it was funny. I remember I think I was living in Colorado when that book came out, and I was like dancing in this company where everyone was like in their 40s, and I was like this like baby, and it was like this fun like pickup contemporary company, and one of the women I danced with, she goes, have you read the 50 Shades books? And I go, no. She goes, you gotta change your underwear every like couple chapters. And I was like, oh, I'm 21. I haven't gone down this avenue yet.
Oh my God. Why do 40-year-old women think that they can just say whatever's on their mind?
Like, I mean, that was a lot to take in.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I feel very comfortable.
Oh my God.
So funny.
I'll just never forget that. Because I had started watching Dawson's Creek around that time, and she was like, that was her favorite TV show. And so she's like, you should read 50 Shades. I was like, how is Dawson's Creek and like 50 Shades?
Where's the connection here?
I mean, there's not a lot of, they talk about sex on Dawson's Creek, but they don't really do it all that much. Dawson's like wildly innocent.
Yeah, no, I can't really understand the correlation there, but
Pacey and Joey forever. Okay. Sorry.
Emily's like, I am always going to let my opinion and my preferences be known.
I'm going to always tell you who I root for in TV shows.
And we want to hear it. So
Pacey and Joey forever, for sure.
Yeah. So our drinks today are the Twisted Teenies.
The Teenies.
It's a peppercini teeny.
It's a peppercini teeny with some hot sauce in it because these books are a wee bit steamy and spicy. And so are these drinks.
Yep. And mine is made with gin and Emily's is made with vodka. Yeah. So you can do either one. But we would probably recommend vodka.
Vodka's a little,
Gin's got that like little piney taste to it. That's kind of also, I'm not a martini drinker, so like
I had to spice hers up a lot for her to drink
it. I am not like like my friend Danielle, shout out Danielle. She's upset, loves a dirty martini. She wants it like filthy with like 17 olives, and I'm just like, oh my God, disgusting. So not for me, but cheers.
Cheers.
Chin chin.
Ooh, so good.
Delightful.
As somebody who does like dirty martinis, one of my favorite drinks, if you're a dirty martini girl and you like a little spice, this is a very good option.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we're talking about Twisted.
Yes.
Yes. The Twisted series.
This is a series by Anna Huang. There's 4 books.
Yeah.
Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about all 4 of them here.
Yeah. We're going to dig into all 4.
A lot to unpack. We're obviously going to start with Twisted Love.
Yeah. Alex and Ava. So we agree on this. Not our favorite.
No.
Ava was a very, I actually didn't mind her as a character. She was a little too sunshiny for me, not to use his nickname for her, but,
I just, with her, like, her level of desperation at moments, I was like, this is so cringy. Like, and like trying to, so in the book, Alex is her brother's best friend. So the trope here is brother's best friend.
Yeah.
And, he moves in next door to Ava, and he's got this cold, hard exterior, and Ava and all of her friends are like, oh, we're gonna break him. We're gonna make him smile and be happy.
Yeah, we're gonna make him show emotion.
Yeah, we're gonna make him show emotion. So Ava takes that as like, okay, I'm gonna be this like bright ray of sunshine, and I'm gonna make him like my best friend. And I know it's like the whole point of the book, but there were moments where I was just like, oh, this feels like kind of base level like desperation here, and it was like just like their book was not for me.
No, it wasn't for me. And I actually like the reason why I picked up this book, I also had seen it a lot, but I was like kind of in the mood for Brother's Best Friend. I was like, I kind of want to read a Brother's Best Friend book. I haven't read one of those in a while. And sorry, you just made a face.
I know, guys, I'm drinking. Listen, if you like martinis, you're gonna freaking love this.
I'm not pushing through.
I am. I'm pushing through. I'll have a second one.
Oh my god.
I can do it.
She was like, sorry. Okay. So I actually was like, oh, you know what? I've seen this series, and then I texted you about it. Like, yeah, it's a fun series. Just read it.
Yeah, I had a really great time reading it.
And so I was like, okay, I really was in the mood for a brother's best friend trope because I really like them.
And also, we had been reading so much fantasy. It's like
I
you need those like little romance books to just like break it up.
Yeah,
those palate cleansers.
And so I picked this one up, and I was like, but I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go into the next one, and then it picked up for me personally from there. But I was not like their issues, like the crime part of it, and like him pursuing their dad because he thought their dad killed his family, and then like the uncle and the kidnapping and that whole thing. I just like,
it was so weird.
It just all felt very forced. And then he had no repercussions, and he had fake cops show up, and then he burned down the house and nothing happened. Like,
and then stalked her for a year.
Fuck off. There's no way nothing would happen from that.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
The stalking for a year was not cute.
No.
Like, not cute. She had every right to like not want to have him in her life, and like that was not what he like. I'm like, that's how he wins her back.
I hated this book actually.
I really didn't like it. It
was not for me. It wasn't for me, but it was enough for me to want to read the next one.
It was enough to get me into be like, okay, I'm gonna read the next one. This one was hands down like least favorite of the 4.
Yeah, and what's so crazy is that Alex is better in everybody else's book than he's the worst book of his is his own.
It's his own.
But he's fantastic and witty. Yeah. Like, you know, like snaps back at people. Like he's just like so much better in all the other books. But
yeah.
His book, I'm just like, wow, you are not my guy, Alex.
No, he's not
my guy. And he sings.
Oh, the singing part. Oh, I'm sorry. My husband sings, and he has a very nice voice, but like singing to like win somebody over is one of the most cringy things in my entire existence. I hate it so much. I hate it when it's in movies. I hate it in books.
Anything like that, like, okay.
Akatar. And he's good. Get out. He's not good.
Akatar? Tamlin with the fiddle?
I hate it.
Get the fuck out of my face.
And maybe it's because, shout out to my brother, and this is like a little bit of a dig to you, boo-boo, but like, he used to be that guy who played the guitar for girls. He was
my God.
Sorry, Matt. You've been called out. But
now the world knows that you were that guy.
I mean, but what guy who could play guitar in high school didn't do that?
Oh yeah, that was a flex.
That was a flex.
He's got, as the kids would say, that means that, Matt, you had Riz.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, it worked as a woman. It worked on me once. I'm not gonna lie,
hell yeah.
because the guy was good, and I was like, but I was hot.
One time there was a guy that I dated, and all he had to do, I thought he was attractive, and then all he had to do was start playing the piano, and I was like, you are suddenly the most attractive man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Talent is hot. Talent is very hot.
So like,
I understand it. I hate watching it.
Reading it, I think because I also didn't like Alex, like reading that he was singing, I was just like, oh my god, no.
And if he was like a musical artist, I'd probably get behind it. But
no, but he's like a businessman.
He's a businessman, and suddenly he has this like God's gift to singing voice. Fuck off. No, he doesn't.
It was just.
No one's that talented at everything.
It was an interesting plot point.
It was. I wasn't into it,
to say the least.
Yeah, because Greg also, like, when we first met, I don't know if I ever told you this, but like, we were in a big theater performing on the same stage in different companies, and I was like, who the fuck is playing the piano? And it was playing through everybody's speaker in everyone's dressing room in the theater before the show.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm gonna go investigate. And my friends were like, yeah, go check out where this music's coming from. And I get to the stage, and Greg and I had not started dating yet. Like, we were just like people who knew each other. And I go back up to the restaurant, is that fucking guy Greg? He's like playing the piano, and all of us are having to listen to it. In a 4-story building.
And that was the moment Emily fell in love.
That's when I knew if I like flexed my music knowledge, it would be a good way to win him over, and I did do that.
Yeah. She immediately was like, oh, so that's gonna be my husband one day, but I'm gonna just like play it cool.
But no, I did not enjoy that aspect of the story at all. It cringes me up all the time. Like, whenever it's like in like a movie and the guy gets on stage and he starts singing an original song and the girl's like, I'm like, fuck off, this is disgusting.
The only time that is totally fine is in like a Cinderella story. Like the third or fourth one that came out. Oh. And even that's not fine.
Even that's not fine. We're just numb to it because we know it's coming.
Exactly. Like, even then it's not fine. But like, we know it's the point of the movie. I think it's called like Once Upon a Song.
Oh yeah. That
so
one.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah. I mean,
I've definitely seen every Cinderella story.
I think that was like Lucy Hale. I think that one
is Lucy Hale, because there's a Selena Gomez one that's
that
pretty
one,
good.
Okay,
with the dancing.
There's the Cinderella story, and then there's that one, and first one is a classic, but the one with Selena Gomez.
With the guy who did Zac Efron's voice in High School Musical. Drew Seeley.
That's a good movie. I love that movie. Yeah. Julian and I are going through rom-coms right now.
You should never watch that one.
We're going to watch the Cinderella story, and then we're going to watch that one right afterwards. I'm going to be like, okay, now pick your fighter.
When they're dancing through the mirror. And they're out of breath touching the wall.
Peak cinema, people. It's perfect. What is the name of that movie? It's a Cinderella story, but what?
It's like another Cinderella story.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. That one doesn't have like a tagline. It's not so like bad. The Bring It On movies, like my favorite, In It to Win It.
That is the
with Hayden Panettiere.
That's the thing. It's like you have the first one, which is, you know, the classic, the cult classic. Mm-hmm. But it's always the second one that's somehow better.
The spin-off with Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, and also I will say the one that the Sharks versus Jets one. Bring It On.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I love that one. I love that one so much.
My favorite line.
I can't remember the name of that one, though.
My favorite line in It to Win It is like, you're lucky I found Jesus. Her friends that she makes at the ghetto school are the best side characters of any movie.
So funny. Oh my favorite part is the crumping part.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Like this white girl
so bad,
trying to crump. Oh my god, it's funny.
So bad.
We're way off track. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're dying. Okay, I'm crying. All right.
Okay. So yeah, there's really only specific times in which singing is okay, and it wasn't in this one.
Yeah, we went down that alley. We're gonna drive back into the storyline here.
Okay, reverse.
So we're gonna jump back. Now we're gonna go into Bridget and Reese.
Well, no,
Reese.
I mean there were a few. I wanted to say like a few things.
Oh yeah, Alex and Ava. Sorry, I really don't like their books now,
but they did have like a few good quotes in there. Like I wasn't a fan of any of the nicknames in this series besides Reese and Bridget. Well, actually, I think maybe it was just Alex and Ava because I just didn't like them. When Alex goes, "You are the light to my dark sunshine." His lips brushed against mine as he spoke. "Without you, I'm lost." Like I remember reading that and being like, "Oh."
His love for her was
Love
sweet.
that. Yes, it was. And then if you let lesser people determine your self-worth, you'll never reach higher than their limited imagination. Loved that.
It's a great line.
And then also, you don't have to work overtime to get people to love you. Ava, love isn't earned, it's given. So like, I definitely, as a couple,
They're nice.
they're great.
Yeah.
Like, they really helped the other one get past like these very specific things in their lives.
Yeah, like her fear of water.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are afraid of water, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It was a weird story.
I had the ick, but it's okay.
I don't know why I had the ick too, and I feel bad because people are afraid of things. Like we talked about last
This
night.
book is just not, it's not for us. It's
I'm
just
afraid of heights.
not for us. Oh,
If
yeah,
somebody had to
you
make
are
me get over the afraid
heights.
of heights, like I would be like, no, like I'm just gonna not get over it. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I think that we just didn't like this book.
I just didn't like this. I think I just didn't. It didn't
Feel
feel
connected to it
connected. It didn't feel
whatsoever.
organic to me. Like it didn't feel like tangible or realistic in any way. It just kind of felt like almost silly because it was so like, oh really? This is like we're playing this as a real storyline.
Yeah. So not our favorite.
Oh,
But
there's some beautiful moments.
It is regardless of that. We continued on with the series.
Yeah,
leading
I
us
love
to,
the series as a
to
whole.
the second book, which was Twisted Games with Reese and Bridget. And oh my
This one's
God.
my favorite.
If you've read this series, Reese is probably your favorite. Like,
Reese is
he's just
amazing.
top tier. And I love Bridget.
And I love Bridget.
I love Bridget. She's a no bullshit girl.
Oh my
She
god, I
takes
love
no
her.
shit. She goes after what she wants. Oh my God. I love Bridget.
I'm not a reread girly, and I would reread their book.
Wow.
I really, really, really liked their because, and I said this to you earlier, but like what I liked about their book was that they had real problems.
Yes. They definitely had like a very real, tangible thing going on where it was like, okay, yeah, believable. Like this makes sense. Like the stakes were high.
The stakes were
In
high.
relation to their relationship and like if it was gonna work or not, like the stakes were high.
Yeah.
Like
there was no bullshit lying. There was no like, oh, I don't know if I can share this with them.
Yeah.
And then like causing so much drama over holding something back that this person's clearly in love with you and you could have easily shared that with them.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff drives me absolutely crazy.
And also I think that their relationship was so organic.
Oh, it was so organic. It grew over time. Like they were clearly attracted to each other from day one. But like they also had a very like, he's her bodyguard. She's a princess. Like they knew they couldn't do anything about it.
Exactly. And like
so they went years without doing
but at the
anything.
same time, like they became friends.
I know they have like a beautiful
They
friendship.
had like a really organic relationship, like because he's her bodyguard and he has to be there for everything. Like they eventually stop being each other's enemies. Like, and enemies is a loose term.
I mean, they just are at ends with each other.
Yeah,
because he wants to protect her and she wants to live her life.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
like they stop like becoming like at odds with each other, and they actually just become friends.
Yeah,
And they start to care about each other and want to get to know each other because like they're with each other
constantly.
and they just had like this wonderful organic relationship, and then he
so
like
beautiful.
which is a point where he was like, I would do anything for her regardless of who she is to me. Like she has like her list of these things that she wants to do before she becomes queen.
I loved that.
And he's like, okay, like I'm gonna help you do this.
He takes her to Costa
Costa
Rica.
Rica.
Oh, I love that storyline.
And that's where like she finds out that he can draw.
oh my god.
And he tells her about like his family, which is really hard for him.
Yeah,
And it's
I love them so much. Like probably one of my favorite book couples.
yeah, they're good. I love them.
I'm like Brees, man. I'm calling them Brees now. Brees, they're a big win for me.
They're good, yeah.
I really, really love and I love how protective he is of her, and like when her brother is just ain't shit. Like I get it, he's going after love, but like now you're fucking your sister over.
Yeah, I mean I get it, but at the same time it's like at what point do you put your own happiness aside?
I can't remember. Does he even have a conversation with her though before?
No, I would
No,
say, like,
that's what's
things
fucked
didn't
up.
go the correct way. For
That
sure.
like my whole thing with that is like, yeah, okay, you shouldn't have to be tied to that, but also you should have a conversation with your sister.
For sure.
Like I didn't like her brother. I thought that was kind of like selfish and very how he handled that was not okay.
Oh, I agree.
And she took it on the chin like a fucking champion.
She just like accepted it, and I was like, girl, if I was you, I would be
I would
getting on a plane,
blood.
going all the way to, where is she from? And
what's the fake
shit.
country? Shit, what's the name of the fake country?
We're gonna call it Genovia.
She's from Genovia. Honestly, it's like a sexy Princess Diaries.
It is. Yeah.
And let's pretend Reese is Chris Pine, because Chris Pine is one of the most beautiful men in Hollywood. Oh. Second Princess Diaries might outshine first Princess Diaries for me.
It does. Sorry. I always think for some reason the second one is always like better.
I love this. And you know what? As somebody who read all the Princess Diary books in high school, it does not stay on books. First one, yes. She does end up with Michael, and Michael is her end game.
Mm-hmm.
He like moves to Genovia for her and all that.
Yes.
They went off script.
Genovia.
I love the fake national anthem so much. God, I fucking love those movies.
So good.
But when I went to the movie theaters to go see the second one, I will never forget. I'm like, oh my God, I read all the books. They came out with the second one. I sit in the movie theater and I go, well, that's not the book, but that was fucking delightful.
They didn't stick to the script, but that was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah. So this is basically, I guess, a form.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of the place.
No, I can't either. Genovia is a great term.
We're gonna say Genovia. I will say the only thing that I didn't like about their book is it felt very random that his father was also the father of it
felt too convenient.
It felt very random.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that there has to be some sort of a conclusion like to the issue here, and like that was the end, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, but it felt like not a very thought out. It felt very detached. I was like, this feels weird. This feels not correct.
It felt like a really awesome solution. Like, not awesome, but like a very easy solution. Like, oh, he's also from this country, technically.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, I was like, oh, is that how... I honestly knew that was going to happen. I don't know why, but I just like felt like I knew that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was going to be the prime guy, or what's the... Not prime minister, but... The guy in the cabinet of like... Yeah. That sucked.
Terrible.
Absolutely sucked.
Of course it was the terrible man who was his father.
But then I did like that, like, him and the cousin are, like, turned out to be, like, half brothers.
Yeah.
And they were having a really nice relationship.
Because they thought that he was, like, plotting the whole time, and he's like, I'm really not. Like,
and he really wasn't, and I actually really liked that.
I did like that.
I liked that, like, you expect that, and then it went another direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was, I think my favorite part of this book as a whole was, and I think it's the point, too, it's like, these are romance books. The plot is there, but the romance it's the point.
It's the point, yeah.
So their romance and their love in this, I was just like, I loved it so much. Like to the point where he was like, I actually can't like stay away from you anymore. Like I'm trying really hard and I just can't.
God.
And like
the sneaking around part's really good.
And
it's really good.
He does like possessiveness so well.
He does it in a way that doesn't turn me off.
Like, I have a quote here that says, careful, Mr. Larson, or I'll think you actually like me. His mouth curls into a grin. Baby, we're way beyond like.
Oh, I loved that line so much. Oh, I was reading that on a plane. I got very uncomfortable. I was like, oh no.
Oh, goodness me. And when he's like, she wasn't mine to take, but I'm taking her anyways. Like, ooh. And then this is the part where I was like, there's not much in the world I want to claim as mine. I've seen and done too much shit in my life to believe in forever. But you, he grasped my chin with his free hand. You belong to me. I don't give a fuck what a law or anyone else says. You are mine. And I just was just like, you do possession so well.
Top notch.
It's not cringy.
No, it's not. They're not cringy. There's not a moment. There's not a moment in their book that I was cringed out.
Really, really. I was very satisfied with their book.
Yeah.
Very satisfied.
And their smutty scenes were top notch. They were top notch. Yeah. They were like dirty in the right way and fun and pushy in the right way.
I don't love, and this was in the first book too, and it's also, I think, in every single book. I don't love when people, like, when they're like getting it on, and then like the guy calls her like his like little whore.
Oh, they do that in all.
And I'm like,
books.
I don't vibe with that. And like he says to her, he calls her like it's not like frequently, but like there's a moment where he's like, you're a princess like in the public, but in private you're my whore. And I'm just like,
yes, yeah, that
okay. I mean, like, sure, but like
you know what, the only qualm of mine, I'm sorry, but like I have a lot of female best friends. I would put money on that we all don't have the same preferences in the bedroom.
yes,
All 4 of these books
they have the same preferences.
have the exact same preferences.
Yeah, like these books are not known
They
for
all
being...
want to be choked. They all want to be choked. And I was like, that is not for everyone. And it should not be for all the same 4 friends. It was too convenient. They all had the same sex with each other.
So
they could have an orgy and all just have the same sex.
So the thing that I've noticed with like Anna Huang, because I've read her other series too. I've read her
choke in every book.
Not that, but it's like the sexual preferences they're exactly the same. Like the sex scenes are what you read in one book, you're reading in the next book.
Okay.
So that's why it's like I wouldn't like these aren't like top tier, you know, books. Like they're not like known for their individuality. Like
no.
You know, so it's like what you read in one, you're probably gonna read something similar just with different characters than the other.
Yeah, it's true. There's I was like at one point I think it was in book 3 or 4. I was like, oh, they all get choked out.
Yeah,
it seems a little. And I remember that being very specific in my brain. So I was like, that's a very specific thing to do in the bedroom.
But in this book, do you remember the part where she crawls to him?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I had to gather myself there.
I do remember that.
I was like,
they each had their nuances for sure. They were just all very like. Every girl was like, oh, I like it rough.
Yeah, no.
So, I'm very sweet and innocent on the outside, but I like it rough in the bedroom. Was very much a trope of all 4 books. Except for Jules, because Jules is who she is.
Oh, yeah.
From beginning to end.
Which, like, perfect segue. Let's talk about
Let's talk about book 3.
Just hate. That one is very much. So that's another, so that one's best friend's brother.
Yes.
First one was, like, best friend's sister / brother's best friend. This one is Ava's brother.
Switch the gender.
And her best friend, Jules. And Jules is...
I love her character.
She a freak. She's... God, she's so bad. She reminds me... Do you know who she reminds me of? Bryce.
She reminds me of Bryce. I actually had that thought when I was reading it. I was like, oh, she's like... she's a redhead. She's voluptuous. She's very snarky.
Takes no shit.
And she's a very career-oriented, like, very, like... Which is not Bryce, I guess. But, like, that's the only thing that what I would say would be a little different.
Yeah, no, I guess so. Yeah.
But I loved Jules. Jules was probably my favorite until one moment. When she decides to not ask Alex for the painting and steals it from him.
Yeah, so, again...
Oh, the painting. Let's talk about the painting real fast. Because it's very big in their book, but it's in all 4
It's a constant
books.
in every book.
This painting... The Madge.
Yeah.
Magda. There we go. Madge.
Somebody's grandma.
Oh my god. Pretty much. He names it after his mom.
Yeah. It's like this weird, it's like this constant thing in each book.
Like Josh thinks it's pretty and everyone else thinks it's absolute garbage.
Yeah. And like Jules needs to steal it because she's getting blackmailed.
Yeah, because she's a sex tape.
Yeah, and her ex is like, you know, threatening to expose her and all this stuff. So he's like, well, I want this painting. And then she steals it. And instead of just like telling Josh about it. And I did not like their conflict in this book because I just was like...
I was like, you could have just... And he even says, he goes, you could have asked me.
Yeah, like the stakes were just weirdly weird.
They were just... dumb. Like they weren't like it was fine. Okay, she's being blackmailed. That's a very like that I didn't mind. But then how she reacted to it really, I was like, okay, we're gonna do that so that you guys can have a breakup moment and then get back together.
Like just tell Alex.
Just tell him.
I thought there like the conflict in this was not for me.
No, I didn't like the I loved their relationship. I loved the tension in it and how it slowly just like the tension and the hate disintegrated and turned into love. I really liked how that was written. I really loved that. I loved her character and I loved his character. I thought they were very interesting characters. And you know me, I love a good career-oriented person because I relate to that. And I loved how much they respected each other's careers, and there was never like,
Yes.
like I thought that was really beautiful, and how they like learned about like how amazing the other person was over time through like little acts. That was really cool. And how they worked at the same
like
medical place or whatever. Yeah.
I think it was just the hospital.
No, but it was like a they provide services for like poor people.
Oh yes.
Brain just like it went out of my brain.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I did. There was a lot of aspects I hated what their conflict was at the end, and I hated how we responded to it. That was probably one of the most fucked up scenes in all 4 books.
Yeah, like they have like rough,
really insane sex, and she thinks he's forgiving her.
She thinks he's forgiving her, and then he's like, "Get out of my face! I never want to see you or talk to you again." And I'm like,
"That's so fucked
because
up."
lying for him after, which like I get it,
I
do get this because it's
the dad storyline made sense.
Lying with him is a big deal, you know, because of everything that happened with his dad in the first book, and he's like, I want to make sure that I can trust the people that I let into my life. And she does do the wrong thing, and she doesn't tell him the truth, and she goes behind his back, and then she's like, I should have just told you, and he's like, yeah. So he definitely had every single right to feel upset and to, you know, feel that betrayal, but the way he handled it was terrible.
Awful.
And then, like, you know, to bounce back and be like, oh, I realize I handled this wrong, but like I'm gonna try to just like pretend like it wasn't as bad as it was. It's like, no, like it was really bad, like you messed up.
Well, and Alex even tells him, he goes, what does he say to her? He's like, well, what does Alex says something where he's like, oh, I actually am the asshole in this. Like, she fucked up, but like I'm the asshole.
Oh yeah, like she messed up, but I'm the asshole. The way that he handled it was so not okay. No. And it's like one of those ways, it's like the way that he handled it, it's like, as the person who handled it that way, when you like really sit back and like think about your actions, like, you start to feel like a really terrible person because you're like, oh, I maybe should have just pressed pause on my emotions for a second there. Like he reflected and he was like, I think I fucked up. Yeah, no, he admits it eventually. Yeah, but I think with this series, you know, the stakes are really not ever that high. No, outside of the blackmail. And I like that Christian comes into it because he comes into the Bridget Reese book at their wedding. Yes. And you catch on that he's going to like Stella. Yes. And Christian's my favorite. I love yourself some Christian. Actually, he comes in second for me. But he then comes into this book and helps Jules out. And who's the bodyguard who helps him? He becomes a very important character in the last book. Oh, I can't remember. It's fine. One of his employees. Yeah, he's not super integral to not to this book, but he protects Jules, and with that whole thing, and it's like, yeah, being blackmailed and somebody releasing like a sex video of you would be absolutely terrifying. But also, like, Josh should never put off like any energy where he wouldn't hear her out and be. And also, here's the thing. How much would it have hurt her to be like, hey man, this is a situation. And if he goes, fuck you out of that, then fuck him. Then you know, they're like, screw this guy. But that's like, but I get it. Like, she also is a very damaged person and she has a hard time, like, yes. Like, it's the classic, you know, trauma. Both of them have trauma that they're not healed entirely from and causes them to make stupid decisions. Yeah. And not, you know, handle it properly. Yeah. So, like, that's which is frustrating as a reader. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, my least favorite thing about this whole book series is how like everyone but Stella's parents is dead. Yeah. I'm like, can somebody have alive parents? Like every single person has like both parents either dead, and like Ava and Josh, their dad's in prison. He might as well be dead because he sucks. Yeah. But other than that, Stella's the only one with parents who are alive. And they're not cool. And they suck. So, like, I'm sorry. They're not cool. What group of friends do you have where every single person, all of our parents are dead? Yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was like a weird trope. It was like a Disney, like, let's kill off one parent and have a single parent raise a kid trope. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, like, maybe for the
The found family energy of it.
Maybe. Yeah, that and also like the emotional like pack of them.
Yeah, everyone had like something to unpack, but every person's unpacking had to deal with like their vacant parents or dead parents. Because in this book, Jules' mom dies.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that he flies up to Ohio and gives up his trip to New Zealand. That was beautiful.
That was really, really sweet.
And that's even before they even admit that they even like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a reason why I'm like, look what he just did, but you can't. It was like
ask him for the painting.
You can't trust it. Like, and I get it. Like, the point of the book is to have like the issue, but it's me and the miscommunication trope. Me and the not just talking about things trope is.
It's my
it
frustration.
hurts. It hurts me. A lot.
Drives me absolutely crazy.
So that was definitely their book was very good. I liked their relationship in it. It was probably out of all 4 of them, it was the hottest.
Yeah, it was the hottest for sure.
But again, like I said, I think all of the conflicts in the series weren't, other than Reese and Bridget, where like
a little fabricated.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. I was just like, this could have been so easily avoidable. And I know that like a lot of people who have also read this book kind of also have that similar mindset of like, this was
yeah.
But
yeah, so that's Jules and Josh. There's a lot to love. Like, I love the picnic.
Yeah,
they have a lot of fun scenes. They're very, very witty with each other. They're both very, like, fiery and, like... And I do love that he's Asian because I can't think of a single book I've read where the main guy is Asian.
Yeah, Anna does a really good job at having a very diverse cast of characters.
Well, and like there is this, I don't know where I've read this, but there, it is like proven that like, as like females go, Asian women are some of the most attractive to men, but Asian men are some of the least attractive to women.
Interesting.
Because, I'm gonna go down a train here, but because there's like that whole thing of like Asian men having smaller male parts. Because of that, instantly we put them down lower and we put black men on higher pedestals than Asian men. Because we,
because of that weird, like,
and it's not like, so not founded in any like scientific fact. But
it's just like this weird thing that somebody decided to like say like years ago and run with it. And it became like this weird part of society where it's like, this isn't true in any way, shape, or form. But for some reason, this stereotype exists.
And that's why we over-sexualize black men and we under-sexualize Asian men in a way that's like really like messed up for both. And so it was really cool to have a male Asian character that was like super fucking sexy. Because you don't like, and there are tons of sexy Asian men out there, but they don't get glorified in the right way.
Nobody's writing about them.
Like, and as you know, I'm a huge Bachelor fan, and there's never been an Asian there's never been an Asian Bachelor. Ever. And there's never been an Asian Bachelorette, which is actually really crazy because, as I said, Asian women get very sexualized.
I feel like they're not like the best people to talk about like diversity.
No, that's what but they're also a big reality TV show that like there's been a lot of conversations of like, there have been a bunch of really awesome Asian male and females that have come through the show, done well on the show, boom, not even in contention to be the next lead. And so there is something about, like I appreciate To All of the Boys I Love and The Summer I Turned Pretty because, God, what the hell's her name? The author of those books. Jenny Han.
Yeah.
Jenny Han does great Asian leads. But it's not common and it's sad. Yeah. So I did appreciate that about
it. It was definitely very nice.
And I appreciate that Josh and Ava were Asian.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. For sure.
Or they're Chinese specifically.
Yeah, but and also like into even Stella, I think she's biracial.
I think she is too. She's never like 100% clear about it. No,
but her family, I believe, is Japanese,
and I want to say black.
Yeah, so she's biracial as well. Anna just does a really good job with,
which I appreciated,
representation, which is so nice. It's so refreshing because everything is so whitewashed.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, all the men are, besides Alex, are
white.
Yeah. But like.
Well, and Bridget had to be white because she's European.
Yeah, but all the men are white. But whatever.
Yeah. It was decent representation.
Yeah, and I mean, in her other series, her King of
Wrath?
Like King of Wrath, King of Greed, all that stuff. There's one Kai, I believe he is also Japanese.
Okay.
But either way, yeah.
I just love that. I just, it's not like Crazy Rich Asians came out and everyone's like, oh, Asian diversity, like an Asian movie. And I'm like, yeah, why are there not more of these?
And that's a great movie. I love that movie.
I just don't understand why there's not more.
So good.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we can move on to the fourth book.
Yes, this is my favorite book. Mostly
second favorite for me, for sure.
Because there is something about Christian Harper, and I don't know what it is, but that man could step on me.
He could step on her. He could literally beat her up. She'd be like, okay.
I would be like, well, maybe not beat
No,
her up.
I'm just kidding. You're like, no, it's fine.
But I'm like, oh my god, I love him. I loved him and Stella. I liked Stella a lot.
Yes.
And
I
like the premise. I'm like, I like where they, like, what, I mean, it's super unconventional. Like, she's a stalker and she lives in his building that he owns, and she is a stalker.
It wasn't a typical
And then
trope.
he's like, hey, move into my apartment. Like, it's not like but it was kind of fun because it's like, they're doing that. And he's pretending to date her for her social media.
Yeah,
and
this was
all
a
this
fake
stuff.
date trope.
It was like a fake date trope.
But it was a good fake date trope. Because
Right?
fake dating, sometimes I'm like, ugh. Especially with adults. Like fake dating in a high school trope, I can tolerate a whole lot more. But when two adults are fake dating, you better have good motherfucking reasons.
Yeah.
Because it's stupid. Like, just either date each other or don't.
I know.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
Like, high school, I don't know. Can tolerate that more. But I thought they had very valid reasons for fake dating.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think he was full of shit that he needed her to come to these galas. I think he just already liked her and was just like...
No, he was obsessed with her.
Yeah, exactly. He was just like, I need you to fake date me too. Like, I think he just found a reason.
And like, the whole... They couldn't afford to live in that building.
Oh, he gave them like...
And he was just like, no, don't worry about it.
He gave them pennies rent.
Yeah, because he was obsessed with her.
He was obsessed with her.
And like, my favorite thing, so the dedication, this is why I love morally gray men. I love them.
You do. He is the most morally gray of the four men.
I love a morally gray man.
He is the most.
And the dedication in this book is to everyone whose favorite color is morally gray.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, he just hits every point for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with him.
I really personally, like, Stella bugged me the most, but then also I attached to her the most. And so I was like, well, maybe she bugs me the most because I'm similar to her.
Isn't it so funny how that happens?
Yeah.
It's so funny how that happens.
Yeah. Because I then, like, later on when she started bugging me less, there were 2 quotes I had where I was like, or no, 1 quote where it's 2, where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it's that I'm like her.
Ooh, it's like a mirror.
Well, what bugged me was, and I don't think I do this, was that she hid all her problems from her friends because she didn't want to put her shit on other people.
Yes.
To the point where it was like a huge detriment to her. To my friends out there, you all know I put my shit on you, so I don't think that I'm like that. I am not afraid to tell you about my shit.
Can't relate there.
No, can't relate there. I think that's what bugged me. So maybe that's not why. But the 2 things that really stood out to me about her was, he goes, how many people have you outlasted? You downplay your accomplishments as ordinary when you would hail them as extraordinary on anyone else. That is so mean.
It's so, her lack of confidence and also her like imposter syndrome. God, like, I think Emily and I agree that we just like
I
felt
to it.
that, especially at least for me, like the imposter syndrome of it all. I think I have a really hard time with that.
Yeah, I do
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
And so
I have a hard time admitting that I'm accomplished at anything. Like, if you asked me if I was a good dancer, I'd be like, no. I'm a professional ballet dancer. I've been hired for like a billion jobs, not a billion, that is so ridiculous. But I dance all over the country and been hired, and like, I'm a good dancer. But like, in reality, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
If you ask me outright, I'd be like, no, I'm mediocre.
Which is crazy because you're not.
No, and I'm literally like, I have to have moments where I have to contend with that a lot, and she does that a lot in this book.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, Emily, you aren't bad, because people want you to dance for them and pay you for it. But like to me, it's like, no, I suck.
Yeah.
And she's like that, and I really attached to it. Because then what's the other one?
I loved Stella mostly because like she was just like, I guess like out of all of them, for me, I think she was so layered.
She was very layered.
I think out of all of them, she was the most layered. You know, she was this person who had no confidence, but she also had no problem not taking shit from anybody.
Yeah.
Like, she would put Christian in his place, like, multiple times.
But it depended on the person.
Yes.
Which I relate to as well.
And she also was like, you know, I'm timid, but I'm also strong. Like, there was just, like, these layers to her that I really, really enjoyed. And being with Christian, like, kind of allowed her to, like, actually... Like, he just empowered her.
He empowered her to be herself.
Yeah.
And I did relate to that a lot because I feel that way with, like, Greg, my husband. Like, I feel like when we got together, he was very much like, no, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to, like, change you or, like, anything like that. But I'm going to make sure you understand how, like, badass you are in a way that I don't think you're recognizing.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
That's partnership.
Yeah.
That's partnership.
Yeah.
And I think that they had, like, a partnership.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think... Yeah, no, I think they had a good partnership. Even though he's insane. Yeah.
Well, and her anxieties I really related to, too, because I'm an incredibly anxious person. And I was like, oh, I feel that. Because what was her anxiety line that I would highlight? Because I was like, I have felt this way. This was why I shouldn't be left alone with my thoughts. I ruined every good moment by overanalyzing it to death. I am the queen of that.
Yeah.
I will come home from a social interaction and be like, here are all the ways you didn't handle that social interaction well. You fucked it up, Emily. You're a terrible person.
I am so like that too. I'm definitely like that for sure.
And then I have to go, okay, you're crazy. Separate that. Like, you're fine. Like, you're talking yourself into crazy town.
Yeah. And she's definitely...
And she does that too.
She does that.
Yeah. So I related to her a lot. I loved their romance. I do love them a lot.
Like, I'm sorry, he's also just he's so hot. Like,
he's very hot.
When they're in were they in Hawaii? It was Hawaii, I think.
Oh, when they have sex after the photo shoot.
So,
oh my god.
So there was that.
Oh my god.
But the best part is that they went to like the wrap party, and then they went back to the room, and he doesn't say anything to her besides like, "Do you have any other plans after this?" And he's asking her this as he's like taking off his like watch and his cufflinks.
Yes.
And he's just like, take off your clothes.
Oh my god.
I'm like,
it was such a good scene. Hawaii was a very good part of it. Yeah.
I am obsessed with him. I love him.
Italy was also like the boat.
Oh.
If you know, you know.
I love this book. And like also on top of it, like this is what I mean, but he's like morally gray, and it's like he literally, the guy who like touches her butt at one of the galas, he like goes and tortures him and like murders him, and then is like, I have to make sure I stop at the grocery store to get Stella's favorite salsa on my way home. And it's like, he's still got like blood on his hands, and I'm just like,
it's insane.
I'm like, sir. Granted, it's like, you know, if this actually happened in real life, I'd be like,
gross.
Get the absolute fuck away from me.
And she kind of just like blows past it too. Like, she's kind of aware.
Yeah.
Because she's aware, she's like not super aware of it until the stalker kidnaps her and he gets there, and then he's like, I took care of it. And she's like,
what do you mean?
I think I know.
What'd you do?
But I'm gonna I'm like, girl, I don't know if I could blow past that in reality.
But
but that's what's fun about these books. Somebody's got to marry the mobster, I guess, right?
Yeah. Somebody's gonna tame him.
Somebody's got to be okay with that.
Might as well be her.
Yeah.
And I liked one of my... Okay, so we were just talking about this. When people say shit like this in fantasy, it's like, yeah, love it. But then when people like say like these intense things, like in like a romance book where like it's not that serious. But
it's a lot.
There's this one quote. He goes, darkness will always be drawn to light, but I wasn't just drawn to her, I was fucking obsessed. I would throw myself into her flame and let it burn me alive. If it meant her warmth was the last thing I felt before I died. And I'm like, this feels really intense for like, you know, Washington, D.C.
It's aggressive.
But I ate it up.
It
But
is
I was like rereading that quote and I'm like, God, you are so dramatic.
so dramatic. Oh my God. Like if you really had, like if Julian really like said things like that to you, you'd be like, boo-boo, what?
I would be like,
you live in Newport, Rhode Island.
I kind of need you to stop.
This is not that
We need
serious.
to reevaluate some stuff right now if you're going to talk to me like that. No, like no.
It's fun to read though. It's really fun to read.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
It is way more fun to read in a fantasy book for sure, where they're at war and they're both gonna like draw swords and like possibly die. Like I'm way more into it when there's like, but like
when the stakes are high.
When they live in a penthouse in DC and he just runs like a security company. Do we need to be this? And she like.
Well, I mean, he is an extreme person. He does murder people, so or like.
Oh my God, yeah.
So he's a little extreme.
He's a little extreme.
That's the thing. It's like nothing about him screams like casual.
This guy
nothing about him screams casual.
The guy literally touches her butt and he literally murders her.
He's like, I'm just gonna kill you then, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, he like chops his hand off and goes, not good enough, and then shoots him in the head.
like wild.
That's the man you. I mean, but it's fun to read. It's fun to imagine.
Do you know that sound on like or from like Dr. Phil? Where he's like, that's your man on the screen, that's your man. And the girl's like, yeah, that's mine. And like, that's how I feel about him. Like someone's looking at me being like, that's your man. And I'm like, yeah, that's mine. This is your man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's mine.
Yeah.
That like, I
Fair
don't,
enough.
Like, I love him. I just can't. Like,
oh my
so.
God.
This is actually my favorite quote when he goes, I thought you don't believe in love.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're right. That was the wrong word because love is ordinary, mundane, and you're extraordinary.
Oh, I do love how he describes love because the one line I like really liked of his that was about love was love is nothing but a word. The intensity of his words stole the remaining breath from my lungs. This isn't about words. It's about us. Do you think I would disrupt my schedule and fly to Hawaii in the middle of a work week for anyone else? As a girl who likes acts of service over words of affirmation, agreed, sir.
And he's like both.
Yeah, he is both.
They're all very good with like words of affirmation.
Yes.
They're all very vocal.
Yes.
For sure. But oh man,
yeah, he does a lot of acts of service because he does, of all four of them, he is the most against love.
Yes, for sure.
He's the most like adamant about like love doesn't exist because his parents loved each other and did not treat him the way he deserved. Also, let's have a moment for his parents being like art thieves.
Yeah.
That was a very weird storyline. Like his dad steals art because his mom loves art and because he loves her so much he becomes a famous art thief and then dies because he gets shot by the cops because he gets caught finally, and then the mom kills herself because her husband died too late.
Again, like these backstories in this series were they were a lot, and they were really hard I think for both of us to like get behind, and it was just like it was a lot.
As somebody who likes fantasy and can like suspend reality, these were a little too suspended from reality.
Yeah, they were not believable.
Like I watched, this is a really obscure TV. No, it's not that obscure. I love the TV show Psych.
Oh my God, I love Psych.
Oh my God, have we never talked about this? Psych's one of my favorite TV shows
of
all time.
I love Psych.
I love that show so much.
It's the best.
But like the amount of crime that happens in Santa Barbara
I
in
know.
that TV show is so ridiculous. And there's a famous art thief.
Yes. Oh my
And
God.
I remember watching this being like, we're suspending reality on this show to the
This is Santa Barbara.
Santa fucking Barbara.
In like 2011.
God, I love that show. What I loved about that show was that like his whole like I'm pretending to be a sidekick, but like he's just very like intuitive and like can read situations and like have a
and absolutely nobody believes that he's actually a psychic. Literally no one.
And Gus and the Blueberry. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I will talk for days
well,
about Psych. Anyways, but no, there's a big art thief in that, and it actually made me think about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no,
Yeah. No,
We're suspending reality far too much for me.
Those, I think that I was very not connected to like the bigger storylines like going on outside of like the romance stuff. Not for me.
No.
So, yeah.
No. But that was my only, like, that was my biggest qualm, was like these weird backstories. Like, I think in the first book with Ava and Josh and the dad, it was weird. Like, the dad, like, trying to murder her, and the dad, like, that whole situation was, like, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost could believe that more than the art thief story.
I think both for me were
I mean, there's pretty, like, I mean, don't get me wrong,
I don't know
it's
if
all
I
pretty
could
suspended
compare
for me.
one to the other, because I think they were both pretty, like, what?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So anyway, so
that was
then
that was like
Bacon's
my...
Magda, and that's it, and then they burn it, and that's the end of the 4-story arc of a painting.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But no, I loved these books.
Yeah, they were good. I liked them a lot when I read
Yeah,
them.
they're fun.
And like Twisted Lies is one that I will consistently go back to, just for fun, like all the time. I love that book so much. I just love Christian.
Christian's great. I actually really love. And when you told me that before, you're like, Christian's my boy, and I like just read them in order. But I was like, I like Reese and Bridget's relationship the best, but I loved Christian.
Yeah. That Twisted Games and Twisted Lies, like I will go back and I'll reread those. The other two, not so much. Definitely not the first one.
No.
But overall, like I read these and then I went on to read all of her other books. Too.
And I would probably read the other ones.
So, and she's in the process of making all of those. I think she has King of Wrath, King of Greed.
Oh, there's like 4.
There's
3 or 4.
3 out right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other one is, but and those are all, you know, they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
They're, when you are an author who's writing all of these series, it's like they kind of just bleed into the similarities, but they're still so fun to like read and enjoy and talk about and like experience. So like I would recommend this series as well as her her other series.
And you know what's funny is I think the second and fourth book, their conflict is more of a reason for them to break up. Like Christian literally stalking her after he met her saw her for the first time, and then keeping a folder of all the information he gathered on her was a valid reason for her to want to leave.
Yes. For sure. After, especially, like, because of what she was going through already in the book. Like,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And, like, whereas, like, I think book 1 and 3, we were both like, that's dumb.
I think it was just, the third
book is
was dumb. I mean, the first one for us, we were just like, this situation is just, like, kind of over the top, like, insanity.
It was insane a little bit.
But, yeah.
No. Overall, though, if I looked at the 4 as a whole, severely enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they have a fun little, like, the girls have a fun friendship. The guys also, like, Josh, I would say, because, Christian is friends with Reese and Alex.
Friends being a loose term.
I mean, loose. Reese
is friends with none of them.
None of them. Like, he's like, Christian's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really, but he's fine. And then, like, Josh and Alex are friends, but then Josh is not really friends with anyone outside of Alex.
No.
These poor guys are stuck with each other.
Yeah, because their girlfriends
I do kind of feel bad
love
for
each
them.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just like, I guess we're stuck with each other forever.
It's not like these guys suddenly become besties. Which I kind of actually like. It's realistic.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to...
Do we want to rate the series or do we want to rate each?
We're going to rate the series.
Good, I like that.
Okay. What do we want to rate the series?
I'm going to give the entire series a 3.7.
I am going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Maybe a 3.5 for me.
Yeah. It's like, it's good. It's very ebbs and flowy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, that was like, was a series that I started reading like early on into my like reading journey again. So I definitely appreciated it at the time. So yeah. Okay, you want to also go 3.7?
Yeah.
Okay, romance.
I'll give it a 4.2.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. All right. And then 6.
Oh yeah, that's like a 5.
Sexy time. Yeah.
And then like a 4.9.
I'm gonna go with a 4.5.
Yeah. It's very, very smutty.
It is I'm giving it a lower rating because it's just quite repetitive.
It is repetitive though. See, okay, that's where
It's like
I
a lot of
have to
it's
be there.
like there's something different about their intimate relationships.
No.
Or like there is, but they're like not enough. Not enough.
Jinx. You owe me a cocktail. No, it's not enough. That is fair. Actually, I will bump it down to like a 4.6 because it isn't enough.
It's
Variety.
good, but it's
as
just,
I said, like every girl wants it rough and with choking.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so
it's fun though.
We would recommend this series.
Yes. I mean, we obviously just spoiled the whole thing, but it's still fun.
Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, no.
If you're here, you've already read it.
Not sorry, you've already read it if you're listening.
Yeah. So you know.
Yeah, but I would still recommend this series to anybody.
Yeah, it's fun.
Who's like getting into like reading again and like enjoys like, you know, a little bit of a dirty romance.
Yes, if you like a dirty romance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Well, bye. Turn my life into business. This is my last resort. Suffocation. No breathing. Don't give a fuck if I'll come out.